Hello, welcome to today's episode of Wellbeing with Nneka. How have you been? How is everything about your life? Were you able to implement any of the things you learned from our previous videos? If this is your first time, please subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our previous videos, because all we do here is talk about well-being, anything that will benefit you mentally, physically, as long as it is not medical. No, medical is not my field, but every other thing, we discuss it here, and I would love you to be part of this community. As we are entering a new year, it will soon come the season of love, and we know what goes on around then. A lot of people show off their love, show off their other house, show off their partners, whatever significant other they have. And you'll be there asking yourself, am I a spoon? Am I a key holder? What is happening? What is happening is because you have not been able to differentiate between attraction, attachment, and love. So more often than not, your relationships do not work, or you do not feel like every other person feels. So in today's edition, we'll get you prepared, get your mind prepared, and get your relationship prepared by teaching you the difference between attraction, attachment, and love from a psychologically researched point of view. And believe me, you will be able to assess your current relationship or situationship as it might turn out to be after watching this video. We often use the word love, attraction, and attachment interchangeably as if they mean the same thing, but they don't. When we are able to understand the differences, that is when we'll be able to make meaning of the situationship or relationship we are in. Sometimes a lot of marriages dwell or grow on these misconceptions, bringing about a lot of divorces, a lot of fracas in marriages of today. Back in the days, you might say, oh, they did not know any of these, yet marriages lasted. But have you ever thought maybe the marriages lasted, but the union did not? The emotions, the compatibility did not exactly last. They just lived mostly for the sake of their children. What is attraction? That is the first point we are talking about. Attraction is mostly desire and chemistry. It is usually the first thing when humans come in contact. People can get attracted to each other physically. They can get attracted to people's minds. They can get attracted to people just because it's novelty. They are seeing the person for the first time, or in a first environment or a new environment. That is attraction. Attraction is just that first contact excitement. I call it first contact excitement because it does not need a lot of depth to spring up. So when people are attracted to each other, it is based on looks, on chemistry, or on their intellect. That is why hear people say, I am sapiosexual. Those are attractions. Those are chemistry. Some people perceive this as compatibility, but it is not. As you watch this video, sit down and ask yourself, what do I have with this person? Is it purely attraction? Outside these things or this one thing that I feel attracted to in this person, what else is left? Attraction is what a lot of people bank on to go into relationships or into marriages. Yes, some might last, but they do not assure compatibility, and most times they wear off. How do you know, or what are the signs that what you have could be just attraction? I'll give you a few points to look through so that you can review your own relationship or your marriage. With attraction, there is a lot of excitement. A lot of excitement when in touch or in contact with the other partner. Are you overly excited? Are you always in awe of the other person's appearance, of how they speak? That could be just attraction. Overexcitement and being totally in awe of the other person's presence. I'm not saying that love does not include or involve this, but if this is where it starts and finishes for you, then all you have is attraction. And I'm sorry to burst your bubble, it's going to wear off eventually. Let's go to the next one, which is attachment. Another word for attachment is being drawn or being yoked with. Attachment is different from attraction, because with attachment, you want to be in this person's presence. You want to speak to this person every time. You want to be in the know of everything. You want to be part and parcel of every single step. And when things are not done this way for you, you start feeling left out. You start feeling scared. You start feeling unloved. This is attachment, and most times it is negative, or it has negative outcomes. With attachment comes the constant need for revalidation, the constant need for reassurance. Do you love me? Do you still love me? Do you this? Do you that? Where are we going with this? That is attachment, which is mostly negative a lot of the times. So if you've gotten to this point in this video, and you're in a marriage or you're in a relationship or about to get into one, are you feeling like this most of the time? You need to reevaluate and look for something deeper to hold on to. Needing constant reassurance or revalidation is not a good sign when it comes to a relationship that has to last, or a marriage that will last. Yes, for a good union, you might have a bit of this, a bit of that added to the real love, but when it is just all of those, then you're in for big trouble, my dear. If your partner is like this, you're also in for big trouble. Attraction is not love. Attachment is not love. These two leave you floating. They leave you literally and figuratively floating until someone decides to catch you. To the most important, and not the last, and not the least, what is love? For a lot of people, this means different things. But we're talking about the psychology of all of this. We're talking about how this should be understood, especially if you want to have or make something meaningful out of that your relationship. Attachment is also built by familiarity, or constant coexistence with the other person. When you are in close proximity constantly with someone, you can build a sense of familiarity or comfort around that person and build or create an attachment bond. One thing I want you to know is that attachment can exist even where there is no love, which is why a lot of people remain in relationships or marriages that do not serve them any purpose, because they have created that sense of familiarity, that bond, that comfort in the person's company. So yes, attachment can coexist with or without love, because you have developed that familiarity and comfort and you are in close proximity with that person, such that when there is any kind of separation, you find out that these things wear off. Having understood what attachment and attraction are, I hope you'll be able to sit down and analyze what you have, look inwards, and decide or understand if you want to go on with what you have, make amendments, or create something more in-depth. So, what is love? In simple mathematical equation, I can just tell you that love is when you subtract attraction and attachment. Whatever is left is what you feel. Whatever is left after you have removed attraction and attachment, whatever is left is what you feel. So if you still have good left, it could be love. If what is left is bad, then it was never love. But I'll break down love for you in a way that will make sense in this coming year for you to evaluate your situation and make better choices for next year. On to the ultimate, love. Love is not just about how someone makes you feel when in their presence or when you talk to them. Love is not a feeling of excitement. Love is intentional care and choice. Love is when you put, or when you are put, depending on who is watching this video, when you put the other person, their feelings, their needs ahead or at par with yours. Love is when you make choices, make sacrifices to accommodate the other person. Love is not a flutter. Love is not excitement. Love is not wanting to be repeatedly reassured by words. Love is not gifts. Love is not going out on dates. No, those are not love. Love is intentionality. How far can you go for this person? What sacrifices can you make for this person? And by this, I do not mean mundane sacrifices. I do not mean people making requests. Those are not what I mean. Choices and sacrifices are what you decide to do, not what you're made to do. Get that clear. A lot of ladies will say, he doesn't love me, he doesn't give me gifts, he doesn't take me out, he doesn't buy me. That is show. Love is intentional care. Love is making sacrifices. Love is making oneself available when the other person is in need. That is love in a nutshell. Are you there? Is that what you have? Is that what you feel? Is that what is felt for you? Do you need to carry this over? If unfortunately you're already married to your partner, is this something you want to work on and get better at? That is the intention of this video. We want all of us to enter February 14 with excitement, with attachment, and with intentionality to care. That is love. If you have gotten to this point, I'm sure you would by now sit down to really have a deep thought about what matters to you and what you have been doing. You have to have a deep thought about what has been dealt to you and what you have dealt to your partner. It is worthy to note that for a good relationship to exist, there should be a bit of attraction, a bit of attachment, and loads of love. The three of them are needed to make your relationship wonderful. Thank you for watching till this point. And like I always say, you would have convinced yourself that this channel is where you should be. Please subscribe, recommend to the people around you, share and comment so that we know we are doing something good for your well-being or for the well-being of the person you share this to. My name is Nneka. I'm your well-being educator, your well-being practitioner, and I'm here to serve you any day. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.